Hey everyone, it's Jeremy here. Welcome to the StationOne version 0.28.0 release update video. It's been a busy few days this week, adding some new features, obviously based on all of our user feedback, and also fixing up some bugs and small behavioral workflow issues in the platform. So thanks to those, as always, who have raised both those feature requests and highlighted any of the bugs that might need addressing in the platform. Firstly, minor change into our events and our training sessions. So firstly, when creating a new event or a new training session now, we do have the option to mark this as an online only meeting. And this will obviously remove the ability to add a meeting room or a room within the building to your event or your training session. And there is also an online meeting link, so you can generate a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting or whatever it is that you're using. Pop that in here, and that will be included in the invitation email that's sent out to all of the members. So if you are running a theory training session and you're happy for members to join via Teams, you can now include that when you're creating that training session. So as I said, this is replicated across both the training sessions and the events in the system. So you can see we've also got our online only indicator here. And then also we have our online meeting link URL available here. At the moment, the attendees from both the training and the event sessions will be calculated holistically, as in not separated for their online attendance. However, we do have that on the roadmap. Obviously, just want to get a little bit of data into the system and then look at that split once that occurs. So, supporting you in being able to, generally record which people are coming in via online and which people are coming in person. If that's something that you want to do, of course, you can just retain the overall attendance and that will work fine. Moving on to our hoses section. We've done a couple of things here. So the first one that you'll notice is that there is now the option to have the location of the hose. So you can see the current location column is now appearing. So if we go into our hose settings, there is now a hose tracking section at the top up here. And there is a allow public location updates as well. So this allows your members from the station portal in the hoses tab to actually update the location of the hoses, so they can effectively just go through the whole brigade and they can do a hose stock take and set the location of all of those hoses relevant to where they currently are. You can see down the bottom here, once this feature's all been enabled, we've got the option to specify our own storage locations. So we are not dictating to you what the storage locations are. Alongside this, in that drop-down option, when you set the hose location, you will also see any of your appliances in there as well. So that's been added into the hoses, and then obviously you get this breakdown showing their current location within the brigade. We can use the change location feature here, so we can update it. As I said, you can see the vehicles, and we can set the location of that particular hose in here as well. And likewise, if we come over to our station portal and go into our hoses section, we've also changed the layout of this. So at the moment, you can see it's in kind of desktop mode. If we switch this over to mobile view now, you'll see that our hoses actually drop into a card view instead of the table. And we just felt that was a little bit easier to see all of the details about that particular hose. But you can see here that we can actually update the location of those hoses directly. So we'll put that into the hose room, and that's now updated. So if we come back over to our hose list, whichever hose that was, we've now got that 24 is now in the hose room. So your members can do that. That's also supported now in the native app for those brigades that are trialing the native app. That functionality exists exactly the same way in the native app. So this obviously gives you, a bit of a better breakdown of where those hoses are. And then we've also updated the report to correspond to that as well. So we've got our testing and hose condition report, and we now have our storage location and our inventory overview. So you can see our inventory via stats, and then we actually just do some breakdowns here to let you know exactly where those hoses are within your brigade. This report is also a little bit different for any units that are a hose cache or a hose swap and go parent. So you'll have some additional information in here about your hoses in the cache and things like that. So, but for just a regular brigade that's running their own hoses with their own hose locations, this is effectively what you'll see. And we've also seen, we've added in some location changes. So we're looking at hose movements across the unit here as well, along with our usage trends as well. So basically, if you move a hose to a vehicle and then move the hose off the vehicle, members will be asked if that hose was used operationally. And effectively what we're trying to do is understand if you're getting a broad spectrum use of all your hose across the brigade, noting that some brigades may have a lot of hose that's not getting used, and that may allow you to make better informed decisions moving forward about your hose stocks and how much hose is in stock and things like that. So we are surfacing that information, and again, that's quite easy to do. This hose 23 here is on Long Hill tanker presently, so we can move that to the drying rack, and you'll note that it's asking us now, was this used? And we'll say yes, and we'll update that. So that will now say for hose 23 in here, that we'll get a new stat. So you can see hose 23 was used operationally, and it was removed from the vehicle once, and then our little charts and everything start moving in there as well. Likewise on hoses, we've also added the ability to add comments onto these as well. So obviously you've got your, it failed a test and this is the reason why, and all of that kind of stuff. If we come down to the bottom now, we do have the ability to add a comment in here, so we can add that. And you'll see that I've made this comment down here. And now if we go back to the hoses view, we get the little chat symbol here, which is telling us that there's a comment. And if I hover over that, it will show me the comment that's been added to that particular hose. So if this comment's no longer relevant, we can just archive this. Admin can delete these comments as well, but we can just archive that. And effectively what that does now is turn off that, that little message icon or note icon that was appearing in the table. So if for any reason you need to make comments on a hose, maybe it's for repair or something like that, or stating a reason why it was taken out of service beyond the failure reasons, you can now go in and add those comments and visually surface them up onto this table, and then go through and obviously see those comments. We've also made a little bit of a change to our check-in kiosk, so we can now remove bad check-ins. So if someone double checked in or did something odd, and you need to remove that, an admin can now come into your unit settings and go to the check-in kiosk, and you can remove those check-ins if you need to. So obviously something not to be abused, but we do understand, and we have had reports that there have been some false positive check-ins and things like that, or people testing the check-in system, and that data basically gets stuck in that check-in log. So that ability is there now to be able to remove those items from that check-in log. Equally, in our station dashboard for the units that are using that, we have also added in here a actions display. So any open public actions are now displayed as their own dedicated screen during that rotation period on the station dashboard. We've also added a station info screen, which shows your station portal QR code if you've got the station portal enabled. We've got some brigade details and some local weather. So you can just grab a free API key from the Open Weather platform, drop in your API key and your location, and you can look up the location in the Open Weather platform. Drop your location in and you'll start to get that weather come through on the station dashboard. And we've also added a hose board view to give you real-time hose count statuses across the unit there as well. So these are all optional. You can turn these on or off depending on which particular features you want to have in here. But those changes have been made, and as I said, you can just grab that free API key there and display the weather as well in that station dashboard if it's something that you want to do. And we may expand that out and put in some radars and things like that. Totally aware that some units do have a preference to have some of that information displayed, so we can certainly look at adding that in there as well. Likewise, just for the purposes of convenience, on our station portal now, if your unit has the QR code check-in system enabled via the station kiosk, members will now see the little QR code icon here in the top right hand corner. They're able to click that and it will basically display their check-in QR code, so they can open up the StationOne web app and they can just tap that and scan their QR code. Prior to having to, or prior to this change, you had to click your little profile and then go your My Check-In code down here. And away you went. So that's been replicated also into the native app as well. So that button appears and we've realigned the profile button in the native app was on the other side. So we've moved that over and made both of these interfaces the same with that quick access into the QR code there as well. We've added support for recurring vehicle bookings as well. So if someone's doing a course over a period of 4 weeks and they need to book the FCV, for example, for a 4-week period reoccurring. So if we come into bookings are disabled, let's go to a vehicle that has them on, which is this one, and we request a booking now. And you can see, obviously we've got our start date and time as normal. So we pop in, tomorrow at whatever, 10:37, and tomorrow at 10:37, it's all good. And then we can put in our purpose or reason information in here. And then down the bottom, we've now got the repeat booking over multiple days. So I want to repeat this every 1 week on a Tuesday, and my course is going to finish in 4 weeks' time. So that'll be the 25th down here. So that's all good, and I can submit that request. So if the vehicle's already booked, it will automatically, I need to change that in time. If the vehicle's booked already for one of those recurring series, it will automatically reject that one and notify them that that is the case. Your vehicle booking approvers will also get the ability or get a notification to say effectively that someone's made a recurring series booking. So we just put that back at the 25th and submit that through there. So that's gone off. So as I said, your approvers will get their email here with a list of the 4 dates that have been requested. And then if we go into our vehicles down here and go to the tanker, into our bookings, you'll see that we've got this pending booking series. So if we click on one of those, we can approve just this one. We can reject this one, or we can approve or reject the entire, or we can cancel the entire. So if I just approve that, then you'll see that all of those bookings will now become approved, and that member will be notified via email that their bookings have also been approved down in there as well. So just again, something to make it a little bit easier for those members that may be booking the vehicle, over multiple weeks or something like that, or multiple days in there. In our training report, training report is in reports. And if we go into our training report, we've added an additional by member count. And what this is basically doing is looking at the filtered period, so the last 30 days, and it's looking at the days on which you hold training sessions, and then basically giving you a full breakdown of members attending those. So if we set this out to the last 12 months, you'll see that we actually get some data coming through here, and obviously this is just in the test environment. If you've only ever ran training on a Monday and a Friday, you'll see Monday and Friday in here and none of the other days, but something to just give you a bit more of a in-depth breakdown on your members' training attendance, which was something that had been requested from a number of units. So we've done that training by member report into here as well. We are in the background working on a custom report builder as well, which will allow you to basically grab any of the data that's been generated by the platform and build out your own custom reports that may be relevant to your unit and something that we're not covering, because obviously we can't cover every report that we think that a unit might want. So going down a custom report builder path is obviously the most logical choice at this point in time. And we have, obviously a substantial amount of data to be able to support that in the platform now as well. So that's all been added. Beyond that, we have fixed a range of bugs as usual. Still found a couple more dark mode issues, which have all been addressed in this update here as well. And we've made just a few, as I said, behavioural changes and workflow changes and things like that. For example, on the station check-in kiosk, we now keep the camera open in the event that someone started scanning QR codes, because it just added another step if every member that came through had to open that, tap on the scan QR code button, so that now stays open. So various, workflow changes and modifications into the platform there as well, which are all contained within our release notes. which of course are available just by clicking the version down here in the bottom left, and that will take you to our full change log with everything that's happened in this version. So if you want to read through those notes, you're absolutely welcome to do so. On that note, we'll wrap it up there for this week. Hopefully looking at having the custom report builder out in the next release, depending on time, and making sure that that is functionally useful and logical to users. So we'll look at getting that done in the next release. Otherwise, we'll be back in a week's time with version 0.29. Thanks once again.